Well, my stepmother says that I owe her a favor. And yeah, she might be right. She might have lended me a little bit of money when I really needed it. I never would have asked her, but I knew that she had it, and I knew that she would be willing to help. So, imagine how flabbergasted I am when she comes back to me and says, "Hey, I need you to repay that favor now." Okay, what do you need? She needs me to leave my husband. She didn't tell me why. She just said, "I need to leave him now." Now, I'm wondering, is there something wrong? Is he up to something, or is it her doing? I don't know. For as long as I've known her, I've never liked my stepsister. But there is a line that I've never expected her to cross. She did something that made me lose control, and now my whole family is mad at me. But I've refused to apologize. Just because they believe her lie instead of my truth does not mean that I have to apologize to that disgusting person. Let me explain what happened between us, and you can judge for yourself if I'm the one who should be apologizing. I'm Carly, 29. I have tolerated my stepmother, Jen, and stepsister Luna for many years. Tolerated is, putting it mildly. I've endured them like you endure a chronic toothache that flares up at every single family gathering. When father got remarried to Jen, my life became very tough. It wasn't just tough. It was like somebody had taken the script of my life and replaced it with a bad soap opera. I cannot tell you how much patience and control it took me to not go crazy and do something I would have definitely regretted. Now, my dad is black and I'm light-skinned. Mom is mixed. Growing up, at least until mom passed, my family was a normal middle class. So, you can imagine the hard left my life took when my dad married a white woman who had shifted here from England. Yes, she even has a pretentious accent. I don't know how my dad fell for someone like that, or why she fell for him. It's honestly absurd on both sides. I'm not saying that because she's white. I'm saying that because dad's dating history never prepared me for this. And Jin is much wealthier than my father. Oh yeah, so you can see why I found it weird that they were so much into each other. If my father was wealthy and she was middle class, I would totally understand why she would marry him. But that way, my life would have been a lot easier. After mom passed, dad had a really tough time coping. It took him a long time to even think about dating. So I did not ever do anything to discourage him. I wanted him to be happy. So when he introduced me to Jin and Luna, I said I liked them. Even though I really didn't, and they didn't like me either. I didn't like Jin because she was rude. And it was clear that having money had gone to her head. She did act like she owned everything and hated people like that. I would love to say that the reason both of them disliked me was a race thing, but it was not. She clearly fell for my father, so that can't be it. Honestly, she and her daughter never liked me from the start, but they loved my dad. This was fine for me until dad married Jen and I had to move in with him. That kind of made my life really hard. As I already mentioned, Jin was a lot wealthier than father, so she started taking care of everything. Dad still worked, but Jin decided that we cannot keep living like how we used to. This would normally be a good thing if Jin liked me. She was not going to waste a single dollar on me until I did something back for her. It was never stated outright, but the message was crystal clear. In Jenna's world, nothing came without strings attached, and those strings felt like chains, so I had to work for almost everything that she gave me. When I went to college, Jen only agreed to pay a certain amount of money, and the rest of it I had to manage myself. But your girl is no pushover. I had a choice to either get dad involved or just shut up, be grateful, and get a job to support myself. So I got a job and got myself through college. And I can't tell you how proud I was of myself for never making dad realize I hated his partner and new daughter. After that, I moved out, got a job, got married to an amazing man, and built a happy life for myself. I can't really explain to you how great it felt to get out of my stepmother's home and her leash. When she was paying for everything, I had to listen to her. But after moving out, I was on my own. I was my own woman. Honestly, I would have cut her out, but I could not because of dad. I still wanted to see him from time to time. I think that I've made it crystal clear how patient I've been when it comes to my evil British stepmom and her equally annoying daughter. So, let me tell you something that happened recently. It's been a year since I got married, and a few months ago, father and his family shifted quite close to us. Dad did not tell me to surprise me and my husband Peter. but I'm pretty sure this was either Jin's or Luna's idea. At first, I was really confused. I didn't know why my stepmother wanted to live close to me. She hated me just as much as I hated her, so she would feel the same way as I do about seeing her more than once a month. But I decided not to think too much about it, since I would get to see my dad more. Peter was happy too, so I had no reason to complain. Now, Peter, unlike me, does not hate my stepfamily. They've been nothing but nice to him, so he always tries to make me stop hating them, telling me that they're my family too. I like and hate the fact that he's very kind. I guess that would be considered a curse I have to live with, since I decided to marry a kind white man. Initially, every single thing was fine. I mean, but then my stepsister Luna starts acting a bit weird around my hubby. Like I said, my step-F family has always been nice to my hubby, but I slowly started noticing that Luna liked him a little bit too much. Then I stopped myself and thought that it was just my brain playing tricks on me. Luna and Peter went to the same college, so he recognized her when I first took him to meet my family. But they weren't really friends in college. So I thought maybe Luna wanted to be friends with him. But the more I observed her, the more I saw that she just wanted to get closer and closer to him, sometimes even making him uncomfortable. But he would never complain, and she knew it. It started making me mad every time she would corner him for a conversation or try to get close to him. 2 weeks ago, I confirmed that she did not just want to be friends with him. At first, I thought, this was absurd, and that it could not be true, but from everything I'd witnessed, there was nothing else that it could possibly have been. So, 2 days ago, I decided, you know what? Hell with it. I'll confront Luna. Yeah. I directly asked her what was going on and what she was trying to do. I expected her to be very offended and tell me it was nothing like that, and I was ready to apologize if that was the case, but I doubt it. Instead of doing any of that, she just smiled. She then tells me that she has always liked Peter, and since she found out I was dating him, she has not stopped thinking about him. She straight up told me that she wanted him and was going to take him from me. I couldn't even speak. That's how surprised I was. I asked her if she was for real. She said that a guy like him does not belong to a poor trash like me. He deserves a goddess like her who matches his vibe. At this point, I really started to get angry and lose control of myself. I told her that it was never going to happen, as Peter actually cared about me and did not care about her money. Unlike the other guy, he was not going to cheat on me, especially with someone like her. She told me that if he would not cheat, she would destroy my relationship and just convince his sad self. At this point, I was already seeing red, but I was still controlling myself. Then she said that she was going to replace me, just like her mom replaced mine. Oh man, just this time I would be alive to see it. Guys, this crossed a line. So, I slapped her as hard as I could, and she fell to her little knees, had tears in her eyes, and she then went home cursing, and of course made up a bunch of lies. She told our family that I accused her of hitting on my husband and that I acted really jealous. When she told me nothing like that was going on, I kept asking her to tell me the truth. When she kept saying the same thing, I attacked her. My stepmother, dad, and Luna came rushing home, and they told my husband what had happened. I was in the middle of explaining it to him, but it didn't look like he was believing me. All of them asked me why I did this, and I just went ahead and told them the truth. But of course it sounds absurd that Luna would just come out and tell me that she likes my husband. My version of events sound more like a lie than hers. So now everybody's mad at me, and I'm caught in a trap that she carefully set. One where telling the truth makes me sound like the crazy, jealous wife. What do I do now? Update number 1. I posted here over a week ago, and I find it darkly amusing that some of you simply refuse to believe my side of the story. Then again, considering my own family and husband have dismissed my truth, why should strangers on the interweb be any different? What genuinely surprises me is the unexpected wave of support I've received. To everybody who stood by me, your belief means more than you know. The past week has been a nightmare of failed attempts and deteriorating relationships. Every effort to clear my name has only entangled my further in Luna's web of lies. Let me walk you through the wreckage. After my first initial post, I strategized to focus on the two people whose trust I needed most. My father and Peter. I should mention that my Aunt Kelly also lives nearby and has become entangled in this family drama. She's always been the one relative I could count on, though she's maintained a diplomatic stance with my step-family over the years. Initially, I feared she'd automatically side with Luna, aligning with the family consensus. To my immense relief, she doesn't, but my attempt to reason with Father and Peter crashed again against the walls in disbelief. Dad's reaction cut the deepest. His eyes were blazing with a disappointment I'd never seen before, telling me he could not recognize the daughter that he raised. His voice cracked when he said he never expected such behavior from me. His anger amplified by my refusal to apologize. I told him that I had no fault in this, and he asked me to stop lying. Moving on to Peter. Well, he didn't understand why I would even think my stepsister would do something like that. He told me she was like a sister to him too. Why was I jealous? I told him I wasn't, and he asked me to just apologize for hitting her and get this over with. When I kept saying no, he gets mad. Fortunately, my Aunt Kelly agreed to hear me out and actually choose to believe me. She told me that she did not fully believe either of us, but she was going to help me get the truth out. So, we made a plan, and she suggested that I record Luna bragging about getting me in trouble. She was sure that if I pushed her, she would talk without thinking. That ended up being a really bad plan. So, yesterday during a family dinner at Jen's place, I cornered Luna in the garden. I asked her how she felt about causing problems in my life, and I asked her if she was happy now that everyone was mad at me after what she did. But Luna ended up being smarter than we thought. It was literally like she knew that she was being recorded. She refused to tell me anything, and she kept playing dumb, which made me mad. I asked her why she was doing this now, and nobody was going to believe me anyways. She told me she had no idea what I was saying, and for the last time, she doesn't like my husband like that. Right in front of my face, she was acting like I had actually slapped her just because I was jealous. So, I get mad. I didn't know what to do. I just threatened her. I told her that if she did not tell everyone the truth, I would slap her even harder and make her regret messing with me. She acted very scared, and then I heard my husband's voice saying, "Stop it." She actually ran to him and hugged him, while he told me that he cannot believe that I'm threatening all Luna. Turns out that he reached there right at the point where he heard me threaten her. She's obviously acting like the victim, and now my husband's not speaking with me. He begged me right there to apologize for both days and let this thing go, but I kept refusing, and this time it made me mad. So, he has refused to say a word to me until this is over. It doesn't seem like it's going to be soon, as Luna's never going to tell the truth, and I'm never going to apologize. So, my plan crashed and burned, and I've landed in a worse position than I was before. I hope your week is going well. Update number 2. It's been a few days since my last update, and you're not going to believe the conversation I just had with my stepmom. As you well know, after my last update, I've been in a pretty terrible position. Nobody is willing to believe me, and everybody keeps keeping these angry looks on me. And, well, even though I've done nothing wrong, everyone's asking me to apologize to the person who keeps acting like she's the victim. But after last update, I thought about something that I found really weird in all of this. Throughout everything that happened, not once did Jin, my stepmom, say anything to me. I mean, she was mad and did scream at me once when she found out I slapped her daughter. But after that, she said nothing. Even when Peter thought that I was threatening her to tell the truth, Jen stayed silent. I was in so much trouble that I did not notice it until things calmed down a little. This led me to believe that Jen at least had some sort of idea that her daughter was not innocent, or she at least had doubts. I was sure that she was not going to believe and support me, but I felt that I could maybe get some information from her. So today, when I saw that she was alone, I spoke with her, and you're not going to believe that she well said something to me. I guess before I tell you that, I have to explain something. I don't know if you remember, but in my main post, I mentioned how Jen did not cover all my bills, and I had to work a part-time job to do that. It was more like a half and half. But one time I got into some trouble, and I didn't have the money, and I had a lot of things to pay for. Since Dad was not doing so hot, I decided to ask Jin for a favor, and I had to beg her, and she only did it as a favor that she could ask me to reply later on. I had completely forgotten about this because it's been almost a decade since that happened. So I was speaking with Jen, and I asked her why she was not defending her daughter like always. Jen just directly tells my husband that she knew that I was telling the truth. She has known that her daughter likes my hubby for a while because I wasn't expecting to hear that. It almost felt like it was a dream. I took a second, then asked her to tell my dad and husband the truth, but she refused. She asked me why would she hurt her own daughter to save my skin. I told her because her daughter is doing the wrong thing and that I'm married to Peter. She said that there's nothing wrong with loving a guy and thinking he deserves better than what he has. I couldn't believe it and told her that she's the same as her daughter. She said that I did a good thing by coming to her myself as I saved her a little time. So, it turns out she was coming to see me, and she told me that she wanted something from me. I asked her what made her think that after all this I was going to do something for her. She then reminded me of the favor that she did for me, and I immediately thought she wanted me to apologize, and I told her she cannot use her favor to forcefully make me apologize to her daughter. She explained that she was not going to do anything like that, so I asked her what she wanted. Guys, Jen looked me straight in the eyes and tells me that she wanted me to leave my husband for her daughter. But I asked her, can you repeat what you just said, because I don't think my ears are working. But she repeated that, and it was the same old tune. I asked her if she had gone crazy, and she tells me that she was perfectly sane and that she was doing a good thing by asking me to leave by myself. I told her I wasn't going to do anything like that, and she told me that she could make it happen with or without my consent. I asked her what that meant, and she said that if I did not listen to her, I'd see soon. I told her if she were not so old, I would have slapped her just for suggesting that I leave my husband for her daughter. She then called me ungrateful in a racist term, which I will not write here, and it left me in shock. It's been a few hours and I still can't believe it. She really just openly tried to ask me to leave my hubby as a favor. What kind of person does that? She also left me a warning. I just don't know what to do. Updates number 3. Oh boy, it's about to go down. It's been 2 weeks, right? So, after my last update, I kept thinking it was weird that Jen warned me that I did not agree, but she would make me leave anyways. I knew for sure that wasn't going to be possible, because Peter may not have believed me when it came to me and Luna's thing, but I knew for sure that he would always trust me, no matter what, stepmommy said. But I should have known that Jen would not have told me that if she did not have a good plan. I really underestimated her and trusted the wrong instinct. After my last update, I didn't know what to do. So, the first thing I did was talk to Aunt Kelly. She told me to stay calm and asked me to keep all this from my husband. She convinced me that telling him was just going to make things worse. It's not like he was going to believe me anyways. Going to Dad was not an option either, so I kept quiet as we planned what to do next. Then, a few days ago, Peter came into the house angry and asked me to tell him the truth. I thought that he had just gotten worked up over the things that had happened in the past month. So, I asked him to calm down and said I was telling the truth. He looked heartbroken, which made me doubt that he was talking about this. Well, I asked him what's going on, and he told me that he had found out everything. Why I was so jealous, and why I was going about treating all my family members like trash. Why I was not listening to him, and why I was even doubting him. I told him I never doubted him, and said that the only person I was treating like that was Luna, who deserved it. Then he said it. A person like Luna is 1,000 times better than a cheating jerk like me. I couldn't believe my ears. My husband is saying all this to me. You got to be kidding. I immediately stood up and asked him if he was really talking to me, his wife. A cheater, he said. The gig is up and he's done with me in this marriage. And I told him I'd never even thought of a cheat. And he asked me to stop making him more mad and get out of our home. So, I had to pack my bags and move in with a friend. It was incredibly embarrassing and depressing, and after that, I spent a few days begging my husband to listen. But Peter's not willing to listen, is not even willing to tell me what's going on. I then spoke with Dad, who told me that he did not want to talk to me either. He explained to me that Luna and Jen had found out about me cheating, and shown Peter the truth. He then cut the call and refused to talk to me. Yesterday, I met with Aunt Kelly, as I believed that she was the only person who could help me. She was kind of my last hope, I would call her. Well, anyways, she asked me what I wanted her to do, and I begged her to go to Jen and Luna and tried to find proof that they were framing me. Also, I told her that my husband would not just believe them like that. They had to use something or someone. But before I could finish my sentence, I heard a laugh from a phone. It was Jen. She then apologized to Kelly and said that she could not hold it. I was so confused that I asked him what's going on. Jen then explained that she had paid Kelly to act like she was helping me while making things worse. Actually, Aunt Kelly was the reason Peter believed that I was a cheater. She told me how I confessed to sleeping with the random guy to her and begged her to never tell anyone. And that added to the fake evidence Jen and Luna brought to convince Peter that I was actually a cheater. I had to control myself from crying. Aunt Kelly has been like my friend since childhood. I asked her how she could do it. She said, "Life is tough and sometimes you need to be a little selfish." She tried to apologize for selling her soul for money. I told her, "You know where to get off." It was an absolute miracle. I didn't punch her. I did throw the phone at her when Jen kept laughing on the phone after tricking me, but she might have gotten me. There's genuinely nothing else that I can do now. I cannot believe they did all this, and Peter's not going to be with Luna. He'll never do that. They're actually just destroying my marriage for nothing. Final updates. It's been a few weeks. After my last updates, I was truly freaked because I actually had nothing I could do. I spent the whole night thinking about how I could convince my husband and father, but I got no ideas. If they were willing to listen, I might have been able to, but that was still doubtful. While they were actively mad at me, this was impossible. But just when I thought all doors ahead of me were closed, something else happened. The next day, after my update, my father called me and asked me to see him. I was really happy because he gave me a chance to tell him the truth, but I was always so nervous because I knew that he was not going to believe me. We met and he immediately hugged me and had tears in his eyes. He apologized for not believing me all this time, for blaming me, and for not looking after me. I was shocked and almost started crying too. I then had to first calm down Dad and ask him what's going on. He explained that he had overheard Jin talking to Kelly and me on the phone and remember her laughing at me and explaining what had happened. Turns out, Father overheard it and he couldn't believe it. He then spied on her a little more and figured out the whole truth. So at this point, I start to sob because I finally had someone who actually believed me. Dad kept apologizing until I told him it was not his fault. He then asked me what he could do to prove it to Peter. So, I asked him to place a few audio recordings around the house and spy on Jen. Well, he did that for a whole week and managed to get like ample proof of everything that's been going on. He then made Peter let me into the house, and Peter did not want to see my face, and it looked like he wasn't doing well. I told him I was miserable without him too, but he didn't say anything. Then I showed him the proof, and he could not stop sobbing. He was actually happy, and thanked God that I had not cheated. And that's how worried he was that he would have to spend the rest of his life without me. I guess true love exists, guys. Obviously, I can't imagine a life without him either. Since then, he's apologized 1,000 times over. But don't worry, I didn't get mad at him at all. What he did was, well, make him invite Jen, Luna, Kelly, and Dad into the home. I then came in and told Luna that she would never get my husband Peter confirmed. Jen and Kelly were confused, so Dad filled everyone in, and they were shocked. Luna told Peter that she could explain, and Peter told her that he never wanted to ever see her near his house again, or any of them. I told them the same, especially Aunt Kelly, whom I asked to never refer to me as family again. She just kept saying she didn't want to, but I told her I didn't care. Jen starts crying when Dad said that he was done with her too. She kept saying she did this for her daughter, and she didn't want to live without him. Dad told her to do whatever she wanted and he moved in with us. Dad also cut Kelly and Luna off. Jin was really mad at Luna. It's been almost 2 weeks since well then and we're happy. Jin tries to talk to Dad once a day, but he never lets her. He's actually applying for a divorce, and he's a bit sad about it. And I hate seeing him gloomy, but I think it's better than living with Jen the rest of his life. Me and Peter have cut everybody else off and are focusing on our soul. As you can see, things ended up working out for me. Thank you for staying with me throughout all this. You guys are some good people.